Well, Parn's stubborn.
Parn's not beating this guy in a fight one-on-one. Yeah, I got step in.
Yeah, to be fair, he did get his ass kicked by a drunk in a party last 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Ray.
Hello, guys.
And just in case somebody's randomly jumping in at this episode, why don't you tell everybody where you're from, Ray?
Hi, guys. I'm Ray from Mar Nights. My channel reacts to a bunch of sci-fi stuff, me and 3 other my friends. And I'm here with my girlfriend, Rectus, to halfway through the series. I love this series.
Well,
I'm glad to be back at it.
I mean, hopefully love it even more in the actually completed series, but check the description down below. There'll be a link to our nights. Check it out.
Cool.
As per usual, we come back with notes, a board, and this time we wouldn't have comments since, first episode hit YouTube some time ago. As always, though, let's start with the board. All right. And with the board comes the board changelog, where I connected the party to King Fawn with a green line. I connected a white line from King Kashu to Carla, since, we don't really understand what her motivation is or anything just yet.
Okay.
I added Prince Jester and connected him with a green line to Kashu and Fawn. I added a purple arrow between the princess and Eto, because that seems like what's going on there, as well as Parn and Deedlit. I added a new colored line, yellow, to represent party and connected the original 6 heroes together, as well as our new heroes.
Okay, I see that.
I added Naba and connected him to Carla with a white line and a red line to Kashu and Parn. I added Elm and connected him with a green line to Fawn. I added Pirotis and connected her to Ashram with a green line. I connected Kashu to Parn with a green line. I changed the white line connection Tessius and Fawn to green and added a green line from Tessius to Fianna. I marked Fawn and Beld as dead. Changed the green line from Carla to Beld to red. That might be a mistake. I don't know yet. We'll cover that later. And I added the gold and green dragons. I say the Carla to Beld one to red might be a mistake because I'm not sure if she killed him. I'm pretty sure she did. Feels like it's the implication. But
who?
Carla to Beld.
Okay.
I felt like that was the implication that she killed him, but the other guy, Beld's right-hand man, is also in the area, talking about chaos and death and whatnot. So, I guess it's also not in the changelog, but I also added a bunch of other countries and things over here.
Okay, I see.
Flame, Kingdom of Stone, Moss, the Realm of Fairies, the Kingdom of Sorcery.
I'm glad you connected Cashew with the Great Witch, because it sounds like there might be something there.
Cashew with who?
The Witch?
Oh, well, yeah. Sorry, that's why it's a connection with a white line, because we don't know what's going on there. Sorry, I should also introduce the element that it's been, 2 weeks since the last time we recorded, so...
Yeah, life has been trippy. Life has been a pain in the neck. But I'm glad to be back here. I'm glad we got it going. We were having issues just now. Hopefully, hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah, I don't mean that as like an indicator towards anything. I just mean towards my memory, because you said Kashu, and it took me that many seconds to realize, oh, that's right. That's what
King
Kashu is.
Yeah, I should think King Kashu might be easier.
Well, that's the benefit of having these notes in the board section, is to refresh. Because obviously I wrote all these notes just after having, rewatched the episodes, so past me is going to have to update current me. Oh, and obviously I updated the Black Dragon's picture. Nars.
Okay.
Well, since we got a picture of all the dragons awakening, I think the only dragon I didn't is this one because we got a better image of it before.
Yeah, that's a really good image of it.
All right. Any
Cool.
commentary about the board?
No, not about the board. I think you do this so well. It's a good 2.5. I might have to. I might be taking this from you.
We already made that joke, which is to say, I don't know how that would play with you and the boys.
No, I don't. We got to try it out. Yeah, I think it'll work well. I honestly, I think Gerard will benefit from this more than anybody else because he always has issues with names. He's always been like that.
Yeah, but then you guys embrace that shit. So,
well, it is fun though.
That's what I'm saying. So at that point, you're not doing it to remember. You're doing it to remember not to say the real name.
Just to put in front of him and have him still forget what it was, even though it was in front of him.
Well, I don't know. Now that you got Michael being the man in the chair. All right. To notes then.
Yeah.
This is a quote from King Fawn. Biana's return has afforded me a strategic advantage in this war. What? How? What strategic advantage is afforded King Fawn by his daughter's return?
Is he saying that because he doesn't have to worry about sending out troops to go find her? She was captured.
Is that a strategic advantage?
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, no. I don't know. Maybe there's something else there. I would think that maybe he's referring to the idea that he has to waste resources on getting her back. But even then, I don't think that's a strategic advantage. But I don't know what he means by that.
Here's the
Unless
thing.
There's more to her.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this because that's my first note, which means it must come from like episode 5 or something. The element that gets told to us in the future is that he was supposed to sacrifice her to appease that dragon, the red dragon, remember? And he didn't, and that's what Tassius had to go out and make himself into a bad guy for, so that Fawn had to, like, remove him from the court, essentially. Well, now, after King Fawn's dead, and the dragons are rising up and everything, that would be a strategic advantage? Having somebody you could sacrifice to the dragons? But he doesn't know that's going to happen because it happened after he died.
Yeah, at this point, he didn't know that. So this has to be something else that he had in mind. Unless, maybe this... I don't think she's a priestess. It doesn't sound like she has any powers to her.
Fianna? No. We already have a high priestess of Nafra.
Yeah, no, I don't know. But even then, like, unless she was planning on using her to get allies, like a proposed wedding or a marriage, and maybe you can get, hey, marry my daughter, we'll join our forces together. And if he was doing that, who would he be offering? If that's the case,
Cashew,
and that's what he had in mind, Cashew. But isn't Cashew already involved?
No, well, not unless he thinks he's involved with Parn or Carla. I almost put a purple arrow from Parn to Cashew as a joke. I mean, maybe it's not a joke. Maybe that's real. I don't know.
Maybe it is real. I mean, it could be real. But still, it wouldn't answer what's the advantage here.
Yeah. That's why it's a question.
It's just, I just think that maybe he can make a deal, arrange a wedding, and get more people. That's the only thing I can imagine him trying to do with that.
All right. Next note. King Kashu's guards are just the worst. Supernatural being forms in front of him, and they just keep riding off into the dark forest, only to return once the apparition is gone.
Did that happen in the desert?
No, that happens in the forest. It's the first time Carla appears to him. A big old dark shadow appears in front of him, and his guards just keep riding on into the dark forest. And then he has an independent conversation with Carla, because there's no one around, because his guards just kept on going. And then when Carla vanishes, that's when his guards come back.
They come back. There's a connection there somehow.
We haven't figured it out yet.
I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, and maybe that connection also is why these guys run away from her, because maybe they know something about her. I don't know. That wouldn't make sense. You're his guard. He's supposed to be there was a king. Huh. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're just the worst.
I mean, even Ashram was there next to Beld when Beld died. And
Yeah,
I'm saying bodyguards. All right. So the original 6 heroes. A knight in white armor refers to Fawn, king of Valis. A knight whose heart was stolen in conquest of the demon. That's Beld, Emperor of Marmo. A dwarf, final ruler of the Kingdom of Stone, which is Fleeve. I wonder if the prelude episode showing the stonework crumbling away was meant to imply to us the last king bit was also the fall of the Kingdom of Stone. A sorcerer, a fountainhead of knowledge, the great sage of Moss, obviously refers to Wart, which is why I put Wart with a moss thing around him too, same as Prince Jester. A cleric of Marfa, protector of our motherland, a priestess, Ness. By the way, the singer seems to be of Kashu's entourage, but is singing in Fawn's court. So where does he even mean by motherland? Valis? Flame? Lodoss in general? That's why she still has the white border around her. Unknown. I couldn't put it into context by that lyric. And lastly, a warrior of magic, the only light who had not a name to give. Obviously, Carla.
Fawn was it? Not Fawn. King Cash was not part of the original 6?
No.
Okay.
He also doesn't look old enough to be part of the original 6.
No, he doesn't. Which for some reason, I thought that's what they were implying, and that was just probably me then.
Well, it's a warrior. Well, because we know from Wart that Carla was part of the original party. A warrior of magic, the only light who had not a name to give, was the only one left. So.
No, but I think because they seem to show all the guys in the original 6, they look really old. But all the females in the original 6, they look very young. At least for the Grey Witch, we know why.
There's only one woman in the original 6.
The priestess?
Did I miss one? Yeah, I did miss one. See? See, I'm not all good. Let's fix that real quick. Yeah. I mean, fair point, but she lives with the dragon.
I mean, there's got to be, well, they both seem very powerful. Even though she had a dragon, both Carla and Niece. I mean, at least impressed with Niece. I haven't seen her use powers, but the fact that she has a giant dragon hanging out with her will make that implication that she's someone of power.
I mean, I would assume that Carla is pulling a references that you're not going to get an Orochimaru from Naruto, where Orochimaru just vanishes and then comes back looking exactly as old as he did before, and it turns out he's just in someone else's body. That Carla may have just been inhabiting someone else's body. Well, must have been over 500 years, as we know. So I guess they just found somebody that looked like Lelia all the time before they found Lelia.
Then what happened to her? Like, why? How was she able to take over people's body? Like, what power did she get? Did she die and she's like bouncing from body to body? Is her original body in somewhere else in some state?
How long ago was the original war?
Was it 100 years ago? No,
no, it was either 1,000. Yeah, okay. This was 1,000 years ago. Sorry, I'm just going back in my own notes. 1,000 years ago, which means that even they come after that war by 500 years. Assuming my 500 year thing is right, and I'm making it up.
But I wonder what makes her, like, what happened to her? What did she go through? If she was part of the original 6, which I'm going to assume there was some good to her, and now she's...
No, because remember, Carla's been around for 500 years. And apparently their motive is to create chaos on Lodoss. I think I have a future note about it, but maybe the original Carla did.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just wondering if the original Carla, has she always had this sentiment, or she's like this now, and she's like now has this. Did she always have the ability to go from body to body to body?
No. When I'm saying original Carla, I mean that the original person that was Carla, and the only reason we're calling them Carla is because there was a person called Carla before, and much like Lelia, they had the headdress thing put on them.
Yeah.
That Carla was never not whatever Carla was. That the headdress is whatever that they always were. So, like, the same thing
Carla,
that there was a daughter named Lelia who was studying to be a priestess has nothing to do with who they are now. The same thing that there might have been an adventurer or adventuress, I don't know how we're phrasing this, named Carla, who went on this epic journey, who then became who they are now. That once they became possessed, they became the possessed thing. That
got you. No, but I wonder if Carla is. I'm just trying to find out. She's 500 years old, and I'm wondering if when she was part of the original six, I wonder if that body she had in original six was her original body, or she's always had the ability to do this. You know what I mean?
That's exactly the opposite of what I'm trying to say. Well, I'm saying, okay, 500 years ago, there's a thing. The thing gets put into a circlet, right? That's what I'm indicating with the head thing. Now, I don't know how many times they change bodies or whatever, but there's just people along the way. Did you ever watch Quantum Leap?
No.
That would have really helped. Okay. Just every so often, somebody comes along that this person inhabits. The person that they are is not the person inhabiting them. There's a person for 500 years is the same person, and every so often they occupy a different body in those 500 years.
Just some entity.
Yeah. So, Carla, for, I don't know how old she looks, 35 years of her life, was a person all of her own. And at 35 years, we can just consider her dead because entity possessed her and was the entity from then on. And then at some point, Carla must have died or something. Or that shadow creature that we saw attacking Lelia in the vision was Carla, and they were just making her look like a shadow for some reason. And then Lelia stopped being Lelia and became the entity.
Okay.
I could be entirely wrong, of course. I have not gotten most of this right.
It makes quite sense, though. I mean...
Yeah, essentially, okay, you didn't watch Stargate, so I can't go with the Gua'uld example either.
I've seen Firefly. I don't know if that's going to help.
No, because the Reavers aren't that way.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. So there's an entity going around using people like shirts.
I didn't watch TNG, so I can't use the parasites from season 1. And you didn't watch DS9, so I can't use the Dax symbiote. Like, there's so many examples in sci-fi that I can think of that are just not things you've watched. Okay,
no, but I get it.
Body Snatchers. They're Body Snatchers. Okay, this is Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which I know you watched because it's one of the earlier movies I saw you react to.
Yes.
At some point, you're the person, and then you cease to be the person when they body snatch you.
Got you. Like, I can, I'm Ray today, but if I put that shirt on, I'm not Ray anymore.
Right. You're the body of Ray, but
I'm the body of Ray. That's it.
Your physical being is not who you are.
What do you call that? The vessel. A vessel.
Yeah, or husk.
Yeah.
That's one if you ever... Well, if you haven't watched First Wave, which is another great sci-fi TV show from the 90s Sci-Fi Channel.
But I have seen... there was a show on Netflix that was similar, that where people putting their bodies left and right and changing their conscience from one place to another. Oh my god, I know that name. No, Upload was pretty good too. That's a comedy. No, but it was on Netflix. I think it's based on a series of books where you are. I mean, you practically live forever. I think they call them bodies. I think they call them sleeves. Oh my god!
Well, now I'm thinking about that movie with Bruce Willis.
Carbon something.
Oh, not black carbon. No, that's something else.
It's like a cyberpunk.
I know what you're talking about. We can both
Altered
carbon. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there you go. So it's pretty much in essence that.
I mean, there's that Bruce Willis movie where everyone just stays home and they pilot bodies from like sleep chambers.
Oh yeah. I forgot that movie too.
Well, that's the one that came to my mind because I saw that movie. I've never watched Altered Carbon.
Yeah.
And First Wave is about an alien invasion where the aliens are controlling human husks. They broadcast their consciousness here rather than actually traveling here.
Still a scary thought that we're walking around and something can take over you like this and you're gone.
I watched Them. Was it Them? Oh, God, now I can't remember the Roddy Piper movie.
Oh, Alive.
Alive. Is it Alive?
Is it Alive? They're Alive?
I was going to say They Live. Is it They Live?
I think it's They Live. It's something to that effect. Yeah.
You know, put the glasses on, you can see everything. And in which case, we can just defeat the aliens with wrestling moves.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I should go back and watch that movie. I think the guys would love that movie, actually.
Oh, sure. Love the 5-minute alleyway fight scene. Put on the glasses. I don't want to put on the fucking glasses. All right. Next note, then. So clearly everyone knows of and loves King Kashu based on how the court swoons over him when he first enters. Even Deedlit knows who he is. The man who united the desert kingdom of flame with only his sword, as Parn says. Could be a reason Carla is courting him. 2 things he and Beld had in common were fame and martial strength.
Do you think she's trying to take over him and embody his body and take over what he has?
I have no reason to suspect that she couldn't have just done that if she wanted to. Especially, last episode we watched, how much power she has.
He does have a lot of power. No, because
I wouldn't be surprised to find out that I was right from the beginning, and it is just the evil god in the circlet didn't actually die. However, I have gone back and forth on that guess. I even said, oh, maybe it's the good god. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but still, what she wants to do is Kashu. What's the idea with Kashu? What's his role in all this?
Might just be chaos. She wants chaos, so she goes to the other king that's active and standing against Marmo and tries to incite him to become a third party. I want this, so I'm going to use my power to then stand against Fawn, but also stand against Beld.
Well, I'm thinking like what you just said. I was talking about showing chaos. Maybe something similar to like what the shadows were to Babylon 5. To keep that order, to keep that balance.
No, that's the Vorlons.
But I'm saying it's part of it. But she's the dark side of it.
Oh yeah, no. The shadows were essentially strength through strength. We are going to create a war every few generations, and then the winner of that is going to be the strongest survivor.
No, but not exactly like the shadows. But I'm saying in that sense that there is that somebody there who's trying to just trying to maintain the balance between good and evil in that sense, I guess. I
don't think she's trying to maintain anything. Also, there would be the element of where does she come from, right? She comes 500 years after the war between good and evil, according to the information we've got, right? If our information is incorrect, that's the show's fault. Well, again, the element that this is a super quick speed run through the story. So I don't really know. Also, we just jump through the time.
Yeah, I mean, and analyze, doing a deep dive into it because the fact that it's 12 speed run thing, it leaves with a lot of questions.
Sure.
We still have tons of questions towards the end, and we're going to end up having a lot of situations where we're like, oh, well, we didn't see that coming. No, I feel because there's so much of it.
Well, I mean, that's the element. Well, there's something about that will be talked about in the comment response that we have. But I feel like that's an element of if or when we get to the actual series, the non-speedrun series. This will just be like, oh, that's right, we had a question about that, and this scene is now explaining that. So instead of looking forwards to being unsatisfied, we can look forwards to having stuff explained, I guess.
Gotcha. No, you're right.
All right. So last recording, we went on about how Parn just suddenly seemed to get better at fighting without it ever really being shown. Well, I guess the show's only explanation for it was the single night of training he got with Cashew before they left the caster to time skip past the prologue.
And it could be also a part of it is that they also are speedrunning, like you mentioned a second ago, and they're maybe assuming that we're gonna think that we assume the fact that that time is going on, he's practicing and getting better. We see no evidence of that.
I mean, the only evidence we'd really have would be the knowledge that this is based on a D&D game. And I guess they're going with...
level up was...
Well, I was trying to think of the name of this particular level up system, but I don't think that existed. I don't know if that existed in AD&D.
The one was...
non-experience based leveling up. What is it called? When you reach certain milestone?
Yeah,
is it milestone XP?
It's milestones.
Yeah, I don't know if they had that in AD&D. Because I believe in AD&D, we're still getting rewarded on a class level. If you're a rogue and you steal stuff, you get bonus XP. If you're a warrior and you kill stuff, that sort of thing.
You get extra stuff for that. Yeah. So I would say, at least for AD, at least second edition AD&D, I can tell you that. Which makes... Well, I'm telling you anyway, if we go off that system, again, they're assuming that I think we're supposed to assume that as he's going on, like you said, with the D&D level, he's just leveling up and getting better, even though he doesn't need the training. Or they're not showing the training. Though in D&D back then, though, didn't you have to go to a trainer to level up?
Yeah.
Wasn't that part of the D&D mechanics?
You had to spend a certain amount of... I think here's the problem, is that I think I've also house ruled that into a number of games that I was running at a time, that I have no memory now if that was an older game system thing or something that I was doing. Because I know I was running games where you had to spend a certain amount of gold, spend a certain amount of time with someone higher level than you, training and whatnot. So I think maybe that comes from the old school days.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to know exactly what system they were using.
Well, remember, there was a novel. The novel comes out before the novelization of the game that everything else is based on, which is just The Adventurers.
Yeah.
So that probably says, but of course it would be written in Japanese, so.
Well, it has to be that system. That's the only thing that makes it legit.
Well, like I said, the longer version of the story probably explains it better, I hope. Hopefully it's not like every time between episodes, not every time between episodes, that the extra episodes are just Parn training with somebody.
It'd be funny. Like 8 episodes back to back of training montages.
Oh yeah, no, like it's all the same episodes, right? You get an original 12, and then the other 12 or 14 are just Parn training with people. All right. So the East has fallen, as per Alania and Canaan, and now Prince Jester claims that the northern border of Volis has also fallen, meaning Volis is surrounded on 2 sides and is only clear on the western side. But since Marmo is in the south, I see no reason that they couldn't also be invading the western side of Lodoss at the same time.
He could be. I wish I had my map up.
Well, the thing is that they haven't shown us a map on screen yet, so any map that you would have would come from knowledge that we as viewers of the show shouldn't have yet. Right?
I'm not watching anything. I'm not looking at anything.
No, I'm looking for agreement.
I don't know, because if they're mentioning, even though we don't have a map where they're mentioning where it's at, what's north, what's south, what's east, at least give you a visual of how surrounded is Valis. Are they trying to choke out Valis with men all around? What's the battle strategy in terms of invading?
Moving this off to the side. I got a scribble tool here. Maybe I can use this. So Lodoss, right? Big ol' L for Lodoss. And we have Marmo down here. And then I can't remember the giant continent that
where they came from.
that Lodoss gets breaks off from. And then you have what? I don't remember if it's Alani on top or Kanan at the bottom, but it's just A, K, right? And then Valis is down here. What are the other kingdoms? Alania, we already got that. Marmo down there, Kanan, Valis. So Moss and Flame. So I'm assuming, I can't remember, Moss must be up here because it's Prince Jester that comes and tells them that the northern border has fallen. Right? No, actually, it can't be right?
That's not right.
Don't tell me because you're looking at the. Don't tell me because you're looking at the map. Tell me because you're looking at knowledge.
Now I got the map up.
So I'm going to assume Moss must be over here somewhere, and that must mean Flame. Flame is over here somewhere too, and then somebody else is over here, and they've fallen. So that's my understanding of events right now.
But North Lania? I thought you said North Lania has fallen.
The northern border of Valis has fallen.
Okay. All right.
So that's my indication, is that in my I would say George Foreman. That was his name. The football guy.
Madden?
Yeah, in my Madden scribbles here, that Marmo has gone this way with its invasion. And no reason why they couldn't have gone this way, or, even for that matter, that way.
I wonder why he didn't go straight to Valis first.
I mean,
like what was his thinking of not going straight to Valis?
Respect for Vaughn, I guess.
You think so?
I have no idea. I mean, other than the element that we covered previously, Valis has the strongest soldiers, and they're holy knights.
Or do you think that's by design because of the witch?
No, because it seems like the attack was already underway when Carla showed up to Beld. Like, the first time we see Carla appear to Beld, it seems like the first time she's appeared to Beld.
It seems that way. Because he didn't seem to be shocked by her appearance there.
I mean, it seems that way could explain a lot of stuff in this show, so.
Yeah. Okay, I'm saying because I wonder if I was wondering if that path was due to her ideas and what she wants to pull off. Or trying of convincing him to take it this way if it's part of a design that she has.
Again, her motivations are still in question. So,
yeah.
All right.
His army has to be huge.
Well, it's mostly made up of monsters, right? And the idea that we had before is that maybe his monsters are the monster inhabitants of Lodoss, that he may have brought people with him from Marmo, and then got the monsters of Lodoss to work with him.
Could it be that that Lodoss was originally inhabited by these creatures before men showed up?
No, I would think not. Because remember, we have the mythology of the creation of Lodoss, and in that, which is apparently also the mural in the labyrinth, which is also the Kingdom of Stone or whatever, shows humans fighting in that war, implying that humans were there 1,000 years ago. So if they were there for the creation of Lodoss, they would just be just as viable to have been also the initial inhabitants of Lodoss. Like human migration throughout history, right?
Mm-hmm.
How humans wound up in North and South America across the Bering Strait, and then the Bering Strait floods over, and then we become separated from the rest of human culture. Lodoss gets broken off from the main continent, forms itself, but humans also exist at the same time, so no saying that humans weren't already there or then migrated there at the outset of the creation of the continent. or the island or
So
whatever.
I was just trying to find out the incentive of these monsters joining was Belt, right? And I was wondering if it's something that he offered them, or is something just strictly hatred towards humans.
So I imagine he
And
offered them control of the land or something like that.
that's what I'm saying. So I wonder, if there's more to it than just that.
I mean, that
Okay,
might be enough.
yeah, it is a big army though. He is swallowing up. I mean, he's dead now though.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we
now
got to
what?
find out where this goes from here after
Yeah.
the fact. All right, next note then. They think Wart might know something about Carla, but then ask who among them could travel such a distance. In that scene back at the castle, where they're talking about before they get the party to go.
Mm-hmm.
I know Prince Jester just said he'd make sure that the Valis garrison was manned, but he can send a messenger to take care of that. The dude rides something he calls a dragon, again, that can fly. Wart's place is over a mountain and on top of a tower. Jester could have just flown there and talked to Wart. What are we even doing here? This isn't even the Eagles could fly the ring to Mount Doom. This is like Prince Jester is in the room. He got here on a flying mount. Who could travel such a distance? Prince Jester should have been like, hey, hand raise. Also, the party could have ridden on the back of the dragon, too.
Yeah. And it looks like they have more than one dragon. It looks like they have plenty of dragons. They could have just spared a couple.
Yeah. The who could travel such a distance. And then Kashu's like, I think Parn could. It's like, okay. It just doesn't make logical sense. If I was in an adventuring group playing the game, I'd be like, but there's flying dragons just outside.
What if Cashew is not really Cashew? And another entity.
He's not wearing anything that would make me believe that he's being possessed.
It may not be the same thing that Carl is wearing, but maybe that's why Carl is interested in him a little bit.
I mean, the thing also is that
the other gods involved with him somehow.
But the thing is, though, he's not doing anything in the middle time. Like, every time we see Carla, she's like staring at a ball, staring out a window, and things are being affected. He is just like dancing and then training a guy with swords. It's like there's nothing there to make me believe there's something else going on with him.
Yeah.
It's like the parlance of narrative tropes. I'm not getting any warning signals from Kashu.
I know, but I don't know. I'm just thinking, Carl appeared to him, like you mentioned earlier, his guards ran off. Maybe there's something else that we're not aware of.
Well, I mean, it has to be. It has to be something else we're not aware of.
But I mean, I meant something in terms of power, in terms of, maybe.
I mean, I already threw out there the possibility that Cashew is Lelia's father or something like that. That maybe the inside of Carla is a Lelia still trying to break free.
But some dragons in D&D can take human form.
Oh, I would.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I know. But they only. I don't know if they do that anymore, for one thing. But the element of that would just have me believe that the blue dragon might be Lelia's daughter. That's the concern that the dragon has with Ness, because Ness and that dragon are lovers or something, and that Lelia is going to turn out to be half dragon. I don't know. Also, the fact that we did the whole thing last episode where we woke all the dragons or caused the dragons to do something, and then Kashu's not doing anything.
Yeah, we need more info. We need more.
All right. Next up, episode 6 starts after the prologue of episode 1, which itself is after the end of episode 5. But more importantly, the narrator tells us, having learned the intentions of the witch, Carla. Did we? I mean, Parn and company, sure, but we are a full episode ahead of this, and I couldn't tell you what Carla's intentions are right now. Wart tells us that she's appeared over the past 500 years in different forms and guises when the balance of Lodoss is tipped, and she uses her power to affect the course of history. That's not intent. That's just something she does.
Maybe they're gonna reveal it slowly. Remember, when we saw that skip early on when Prawn was about to go visit her, then we, like you mentioned a second ago, we saw another episode. Maybe they'll clarify it.
I want to point out again, because I don't think you picked up on this, that happens at the start of episode 6. That means the entirety of episode 6, they didn't reveal it. The entirety of episode 7, they didn't reveal it. And we're about to watch episode 8. So at the start of episode 6, having learned the intentions of the witch Carla, ... they say more, but that's not the intention, so they say. That we then spent another 20 minutes not learning it, and then another 24 minutes not learning it. So legitimately, the runtime of most of a movie has gone by after the narrator said that we learned the intentions of the witch, and we haven't. Unless both of us are dense. Like, you watched as much as I did, and then I went back and double watched it, and I still don't know.
I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say, because we have the issue of who she is, and we also the storytelling. Their storytelling structure it's confusing.
It's messed up.
It's messed up, you know?
Again, episode 1 happens between episode 5 and 6. And then we skip over the events of what actually happened there, except for like a 3-minute span.
I won't be surprised if we find out her intentions of episode 12. At the very end.
Well, that wouldn't matter. But that wouldn't matter to the point of... again, it gets brought up in the comments, so I'll hold off on that. I'm just saying it wouldn't matter if we found out in episode 12. All right, next comment then. Next note then. So Beld tells Ashram not to consider their losses as sacrifices, but as a necessary shield, as Ashram himself will when he meets his end. To which Ashram points out that Beld will be if he meets his as well. Everyone laughs. A good time was had by all. Except, what the heck does that mean? It really feels like a shadowy message that indicates towards something greater. Like, it sounds like Marmo isn't trying to conquer so much as it's fighting towards some greater goal. Don't count the losses as sacrifices, meaning a normal person would think that everyone dying was a sacrifice for something, but rather a shield. A shield against what? And more than that, their leaders consider themselves the same. I would almost guess that Marmo might not be evil, and are after something, some other end, that forces them to go through everyone else in order to achieve it. You know? Except for all the evil stuff we've seen them do along the way. Doing. Yeah. Being direct evidence against that. Fawn wanted to unite Lodoss in the past, but says he didn't want to do it by force. Maybe Beld is just doing what Fawn wouldn't do, and is marching to unite Lodoss? Or Fawn tells Parn a story about his father, and talks about the dragon shooting star, and the tribal leaders' need for a sacrifice for it. 2 different uses of the word sacrifice in the same episode. Could Marmo be on the warpath to deal with the dragons?
To deal with the dragons? I don't think so. If this really feels like conquest over anything else. It doesn't feel like there was a mission behind it other than controlling everything and getting and shoot for power. I mean, that's the way it's coming across.
Then what are they a shield from? Don't count them as sacrifices. Count them as a shield. And then both his bodyguard and him say, yes, as you will be as well when you die. It would be different if we thought of them as evil, and then we say, okay, they're counting their men's deaths as shields for themselves. But then they say about their emperor, yes, your death will also be a shield. So that implies more than just the evil guy putting people in front of him as a body shields. Your death will be a shield against something. Not just a sacrifice, Because also the word sacrifice implies that you're giving your life for a greater cause.
Yeah, but how would he know there's something going on with the dragons?
I'm using
is
the
there?
element that Fawn was talking about, the sacrifice towards
Mm,
dragons being necessary before, and then he didn't do it, and then I don't know. I'm just trying to tie the word sacrifice together with previous usage in the show.
yeah. No, I would initially think that he meant like cannon fodder. You know what I mean? That's what I initially would have thought of, but that's not what he's implying here.
That's what I'm saying. The evil person putting bodies in the way would be the sacrifice for me or Emperor.
For whatever my mission is, whatever I'm trying to pull off.
Yeah, but the fact that they talk about themselves as also sacrifices, and then not sacrifices, but shields.
Maybe could it be because maybe these deaths are considered a sacrifice to a god.
But it's only the right-hand guy of Beld, the one that we haven't got a name for yet, that's talking about times and death and how it's all meaningless in the greater scheme of things. He's saying that as though even Beld and Ashram don't understand that. So it can't be Beld and Ashram's intent if the third guy is saying that they don't even understand that.
Well, the dragons are stirring. I wonder if maybe every death is giving them power to wake up.
Except that Carla just seems to have woken them up on their own. I mean, they happened after a battle, so maybe. The only thing that, beyond the fact that it's a tangential thought in my head, and I don't think it's even indicated towards the show, my idea that they're fighting against the dragons maybe, is the fact that Beld wields the demon sword, and the demon sword seems to be in contact with a dragon.
Unless it's a lion, it's just a demon.
I don't know. It's one of the named dragons that we have so far.
Okay.
Also, we know nothing about the demons yet, other than the fact that Beld, fought it with the rest of the party. All right, next note. Going a bit meta for a moment, Woodchuck threw a dagger at Parn in order to prove a point. A record of the Lodoss Wars' RPG novels came out in '86, which means that they were likely playing AD&D First Edition. That means that dagger would have done 1d4 points of damage. Parn is a fighter, or a paladin subclass thereof, given that he's a holy knight now, and would be rolling d10s for HP. Unless Parn has the worst luck imaginable in HP rolls, there would be no world in which Woodchuck would have killed him in a single dagger throw. It's a narrative thing I often bring up about how D&D doesn't do well in the narrative realm of combat. Say you are describing somebody who comes up behind your character, knife to your neck. Well, I am a 4th level fighter, so I have 20-something HP, and you have a dagger that does d4 damage. At worst, 2d4 on a crit. At best, you can do 8 damage to me. I'm not that scared, actually.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like, you put a knife, you can bury that knife in my throat, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that could be. It really, you're right. It doesn't translate well. But do you think that's what they were trying to shoot for?
At worst, you throw a knife at Slain, the wizard, who rolls d4 hit points in AD&D First Edition. Yeah,
you might kill him unless he has some type of shield on him that we're not aware of, some shield spell.
I mean, I've lost a wizard that way because I also had a Summon Familiar in AD&D First Edition. Summon Familiar adds to your HP, but you also permanently lose those hit points if the Familiar dies.
Oh boy.
And I died in an explosion that also killed my familiar. So, I just wanted to bring out that narrative thing. That
no.
Very deadly situations in real life are just laughable events in D&D.
In D&D, you would think they were trying to find a way to fix that.
Yeah, well, D&D is not the best RPG. It's just the most populous one. All right. Parn trying to get Deedlit to stay behind, then telling her the world is full of people trying to get you from behind, let me handle them so you can keep your eyes on what's ahead, I think solidifies the purple line that I've drawn between them on the board.
What do you mean by that?
Which part are you confused by?
Okay, never mind. I see. I forgot what purple was for.
That's why I got the key there. Because otherwise,
Yep,
I'd be reminding everybody all the time what lines me.
I got it.
Okay. So in episode 6, Beld calls the Black Dragon Narse. I think we got confused because the wizard-looking dude that's with Beld worships Cardis and just calls out Cardis's name when stuff is happening to him. I guess maybe the implication is that he doesn't know Narse is doing anything to him and just thinks it's Cardis doing it. Either way, Beld is trying to keep Narse subdued in spite of someone else trying to summon them, to which the implication was that Carla was that someone, which should have been our hint going into episode 7 of what was to come. Because also previously on the board, we had labeled the dragon's name as Cardis, which, being the evil god led to other theory crafting, which turned out to be untrue. So now we have it named Narse, which its actual name is, separating the still living other side guy of Beld from it.
We really don't know his name, do we?
Not
That
yet.
wizard.
Hasn't been said.
But he's been on screen a couple of times. Matter of fact, he's been on screen once, I think, where it was just him casting a spell or summoning something.
He was in the episode in the throne room where Carla first appeared to Beld. He was in the fields outside of Canaan when Beld was taking over the city. He was in the throne room where King Canaan is being dragged away. He was on a hilltop talking to, I guess, Narse or himself. And then last episode, he was talking about how people don't understand that time and death mean nothing in the greater scheme of things. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. It's just he hasn't spoken to anyone other than himself, it seems like.
Nor do we know if he had any motivation or anything like that.
Nope. But again, he hasn't really done anything other
but
than
I'm
the
saying,
fact that
he's
he
been
might be
prominent.
responsible for Beld's death, or it might have been Carla. I suspect it's Carla, not him. It's just the element that they're both like standing on hilltops.
Gotcha.
Carla really is overpowered. She's got a crystal ball that can see anything happening anywhere. She can teleport to any place or create an illusion there of herself. Weather control, as we saw, can freeze people and counterspell, and awaken all the dragons at once.
Sounds like a god, doesn't it?
As per my previous theory, you mean?
Yep. I mean, that's a lot of power.
I mean, it's more power. Well, I would say 20th level, maybe. All right. So we've broken the cardinal rule and split the party. Eto is on his way back to rejoin Parn, Deedlit, and Woodchuck, but Gim and Slane are on their own journey, as they say. Let's see. Whatever Carla's plan is, she apparently doesn't care which side she supports. I mean, she's backing Marmo right now, offered aid to Flame, and when pressed by Parn, offered to back Volus. In so much as she seems to consider everyone her pawns, it seems odd that she would mention the party as her pawns specifically.
That just might be a manipulation tactic.
But she's manipulating. That's my point, though. She's manipulating everyone.
Everybody.
So if you're manipulating everyone, why would you call out specific people as your pawns? Because everyone's your pawns.
But anyway, that could be part of the tactic for that group to have more control. I guess, I don't know. Maybe it's something. It sounds like a tactic.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing that it's a tactic. It's just the problem for me is that she says so few things. We kind of got to analyze everything she says. All right. Wart warns Pawn that killing Carla will avert the tragedy to come, but this warning comes about 5 minutes before the death of Fawn and Beld and the awakening of the dragons. Either Wart has the worst timing, or the implication is towards an even worse tragedy to come.
Yeah, because if he's referring to this tragedy we just had, then you're right. It's super late with that. I don't
Especially
think
since
so.
this is after we already met him.
I would think there's something else.
So something worse than the dragons waking up and running ripshot over Lodoss.
And what would be worse? What would be worse than that, you think?
Destruction of Lodoss?
Well, awakening those two gods who fought in the first place around.
Well, they're not asleep, is the problem.
But
The implication
yeah,
from the beginning of every episode is that they're all dead.
it is fantasy, though.
Sure, but the implication that it is fantasy, though, implies that anything is possible. And one of those constant one of those constant truisms is, in a world where anything is possible, nothing is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
we got to establish guardrails so that we know what is possible to happen, so that we can work within the realm of what's possible. Because again, if I can just say, she's alive now, then it's like, how? Why? I need to know.
It'll be like, I don't know. You know, that timing for this information is way, way, way crazy. So, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it at this point.
Yeah, well, that's my point, is that it has to be something on the way, or they're just saying war is worthless.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of as a worst case scenario, somehow these gods were resurrected. And then the war starts all over again, and it'd have a giant cataclysm all over again. Like it repeated itself somehow. That would be horrific. But you're right. I mean, they're dead. Why would it be that?
I mean, it was literally my first theory, is that one of these was going to be one of the old gods that didn't die. But I don't know. It's the element of what you said. What's worse? What's the worst thing that could happen? And the dragons waking up could kill everyone, but it could always be survivors, right? And not to mention, there's also a northern continent maybe filled with people, right?
Do we know for sure that the gods are dead? Like, how do we know they're dead and not just dormant?
8 episodes of recap at the start of every recap telling us that they're dead.
It could be the perception they have.
But who's telling us that at the beginning of every episode? The narrator. The narrator isn't a party in the war, right? So if the narrator is just wrong, then we can never trust the narrator.
No, I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying that we're going. The narrator is probably giving the information based off what these people's point of view.
Is it?
You know, so it could be the fact that they all think that the gods are dead. So that's what that's common knowledge around the world, that the gods are dead, but they may not be. Maybe they're just dormant, and people think they're dead.
I mean, it also goes back to the element of, why are we praying to dead gods?
Yeah, right.
And also, we're begging the dead gods for power to do spells.
And they're getting the power.
I think I brought this up in a previous note section, Forgotten Realms, how some of the dead gods still grant powers. That's not the setting of the show, obviously. But
no, but you say they grant power, but we don't know. I mean, we don't know what this world has it set up. It could be that I could be just pulling shit out of my ass.
You who see the show
I normally
before.
do. Dude, but just like you said about Farscape earlier, you forget things. You know, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember everything.
All right. Well, my last note then. So we saw lightning strike the ground, and 6 purple objects flew out across the land, striking places across Lodoss, which is when we saw the dragons. The first one was Brammed, the one we'd seen with Ness before, in an ice area. The one hits the bottom of the ocean, bringing out a new dragon that we haven't seen. The third was in a mountain range that could literally be anywhere, with a gold dragon we also haven't seen before. The fourth was Shining Star, who emerged from a volcano. And the fifth was Nars, who emerged from the ruins that we saw him under the first time he appeared, with the Marmo characters.
Then, was that lightning just random? Was it random, or was that something that was...
No, I believe that was Carla.
Was Carla, okay.
All right. Well, as I said, we do have a comment. Randomly picked from the Patreon. Not the Patreon, from the YouTube side of things. We have Kellen Winslow from Prologue to the Legend. Yes, Ray was right. Ryo Mizuno created the world of Lodoss. Then when he joined Group SNE, they began to play in the world he created. They wanted to use TSR's D&D system and publish their adventures in Dragon Magazine, much like the way Dragonlance was created. But they weren't given permission to do so, so they made their own system called Sword World RPG. It's still popular today and is still going. It's part of an entire world called Forcelia. Ilcrest is the main continent that Lodoss broke off from, and there is actually an anime about that called Rune Soldier, but it's quite different than Lodoss.
What's the name of the continent?
Ilcrest.
Ilcrest.
The OVAs came out in 1990 and actually were so popular that they revived the flagging industry. All the music by Mitsuo Magata is amazing. I have everything that's been made on disc, one signed by the composer. In fact, Record of the Lodoss War CD Volume 2 was the first anime CD I got way back in 94. There is a piece of music that he ripped off, though. Don't know if they got in trouble for it, but we'll get there when it comes up. And the characters are all designed by Naruto Yuki, and I apologize way ahead of time. I'm not good at saying Japanese names. From Escaflowne and Space Battleship Yamato 2199. But for Theta, it's important to know that only the first 8 or so episodes of the OVA series are canon. After that, the ending was made up because Ryu and his group weren't done with the story. Much like Game of Thrones wasn't finished. Unlike that story, though, Lodoss was finished in the form of the TV show made around 6 years after the OVAs. That show picks up after episode 8 of the OVA, which is why it would seem weird seeing it after the end of the OVAs. So what happens to a favorite character of Theta's doesn't happen in the actual storyline. Well, I guess that's a bit of a spoiler. After the Lodoss TV series, then it continues in the Legend of Crystania OVAs and movie. So there is an actual watch order to the story, if you wondered. And yes, there are many Lodoss video games, although we only got 2 of them in the West. One was a Diablo-style game for the Dreamcast, and another was a more recent game for all systems called Deedlit's Adventures and Wonder Labyrinth.
What? I have to look that up. Let me get Steam out of here.
Well, it says for all systems, so I have to assume that something might be on Steam.
Yeah, Steam is usually cheaper. Well, interesting. So you're saying now that the episode we're going to get into, episode 8, is the last episode that's canon for this series?
Apparently. Oh, I think I mentioned this before in previous episodes, because again, they're reacting to our first episode, so they're not caught up to what we would have said this before.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that I brought up before that the ending is different. I think I mentioned before, like Full Metal Alchemist versus Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. So, I mean, as I said, our plan, or something that we've talked about before, and again, if it happens, it happens, is that we finish this, and then we go on to the actual longer show that has the actual canon story.
Yeah.
So, today, our plan, watch episode 8, and then we'll watch the alternative ending that isn't canon. And then hopefully we'll go on and watch the stuff that takes place after episode 8.
Okay. Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. So, yeah, I guess if that is everything, let's go ahead and hop on in and see what episode 8 has to offer.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Who'd have guessed? That's right, I'm keeping the joke going across 2 weeks.
I'm glad the camera's working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it got through the entirety of the notes section, so. But like I said, the idea that the narrator could be lying to us. I only appreciate the trope of the unreliable narrator when it comes to characters. You know, if the character was lying to us because the character is lying to themselves, that's fine. But when your narrator is a third-party, omniscient character that should be only telling us world-building notes, then that's not acceptable.
Yeah. I get you. I mean, you're 100% correct, you know? But I was just trying to figure out where they're going with this. And in terms of like the way, it's because of their structure. It is a bit confusing. And my theory crafting is probably just confusing me more. I do like this song, though. I like the music of the show. It's really good.
I only realized like 10 seconds ago that I was still showing the board on my recording screen. So, crap. Oh no, the audience has missed something that they've seen every episode for the last 8 episodes.
You can just run the one from the previous episode on.
Oh yeah, no, well, I'll just edit it into the editing. It's not a problem. There's been times where I have just completely forgotten to record the video, and I just had to put it back in.
You said there were 6 dragons? I see 5 here.
I said 5.
Oh, they said 6.
No, it's on the board. I also double-checked this thing myself, because I also thought maybe we said 6 in the past. Because I was like, oh, did they include the green one from the labyrinth? And it's like, no, it's not on there. Funeral time for King Fawn. Because we got time to do that in the middle of the war. I just have a golden crest thing on his chest. Spoiler, implying there's enough survivors that people will know of this and talk about it. Meanwhile, with the Legion of Doom. Okay, I thought that was the place we saw Marmo at the beginning, but I guess not.
Lelia. Why you pronounce it like that?
Also, Dealit would fucking hate this. You remember Parn was about to strike a tree with a sword once, and she was like, on him
no, don't do that.
Yeah, that's just carving wood. I guess she has a hair pick. Unless that hair pick that we're being shown is also inhabited by a creature. And she's literally being drawn in 2 different directions. That's why she's going for Kashu and Beld. And maybe it's the one going after Kashu killed Beld. Who the hell is this?
This is new.
Episode 8, time to introduce Santa Claus. Was the indication that episode 7 was the last canon thing, or episode 8 onwards was the non-canon stuff? Because
I said to 8. From 1 to 8 is canon.
Okay, so say if we're introducing new characters now, and this is all non-canon now, that would make a little sense, I guess. I guess Edo caught up. Oh, that's racist. Well, it implies all elves are dark elves. We got one action beat music in here. Wait, Carla has a cat. I guess we did see her in a castle. I didn't know it was her castle.
Oh.
That's a huge gamble.
2 against 4?
Oh, no, I mean jumping off the cliff and attacking him, he deflects you and you just keep going down the cliff, right? What you should expect. No. Don't. What? You're 2-on-1. Let it be 2-on-1. No, they're racist. I covered this.
She's done that. She's done that make Lodoss great again movement.
I half expected this to turn into a sexist bullshit thing where he would attack her and like, you got boobs, you're a woman, I can't fight you. No one for all the epilepsy kids. Oh, he's a berserker.
Time to run, guys. Now I understand why they went up against these 4.
Once again, we invoke Edo to get us out of trouble.
It's gonna have to be, right? Because it ain't Parn. Parn's not gonna beat up and if he does,
he leveled up between episodes.
Jeez.
He's like the Predator. He only attacks you if you're armed.
Dude, this man left a crater in the ground.
And didn't break his sword doing it. Although he does seem to have the Sword of Omens. I know we've made that joke before, but his is the coloration and everything. Well, Parn's stubborn.
Parn's not beating this guy in a fight 1-on-1. Yeah, I got step in.
Yeah, to be fair, he did get his ass kicked by a drunk in a party last 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. Not a berserker. And this guy is crazy strong. He's giving me guts vibes.
Nah, his sword's not big enough.
No, it isn't, but
Also, Guts is covered with more scars than that. So yeah, drop your weapons to make him not target you. So her thought was, I better pick up a sword and get in front of him. You really should be frothing at the mouth.
yeah, because historically this has been a drug-induced thing.
I don't know, typically when I read it in books and stuff, it's a blood-induced thing. Bite your tongue, bite the inside of your mouth sort of thing.
No, but didn't they say that the Vikings used some type of mushroom?
I don't know anything about actual historical berserkers. Another spirit to add to the board.
Yuri.
I think we got 4 spirits on the board right now. This is a new one.
That makes a lot of sense. This guy was pretty nasty, though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, back to the hairpin.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, he was carving
he
the
was
hairpin.
making it. Okay.
We can take the circlet off her head. Wouldn't be a game of D&D without inter-party conflict.
Well, Slane tried to stop him before. He didn't want to be stopped anymore.
Yeah.
I would like for him to go with Slane, but if Slane's a real one, he'll be right, following him from behind.
Well, remember, they
hitting
punched him in the gut before. They're not saying that Wart's castle is on top of a mountain. Carla's in the middle of a swamp.
No, she's a witch, though.
Also
Keep that
implying
trope
that
alive.
Carla, the possessed person, has a castle. Meaning, I guess somebody in the past that Carla is possessed had a castle, and they decided this is the place I want to keep. That's why they call them a keep. Because you want to keep them.
It seemed abandoned.
Yeah, probably. I mean, over 500 years. Assuming maybe one of the first ones. By which I don't mean first castles, I mean first places that the person Carla inhabited.
Yeah, gotcha.
That was tied to the labyrinth.
That's dope. I like that. It's because it's huge. Where'd that waterfall come from? They're in the swamp.
Oh, because the place is submerged in the swamp. So it seems like it was built here intentionally to be submerged in the swamp. Not like Monty Python. This is the room that she was in when she was looking into the crystal ball.
お前はレイリアだ。お前はマーファの神官ニースの娘だ。思い出せレイリア。
言ったはずだ。その娘の意識はすでにない。存在しているのは私だ。
Yeah, are you willing to kill Carla?
これはレイリアという娘の体。
Asking the questions right after I asked them.
I think you wrote it.
I mean, my thought was that he would throw the, axe at her immediately to prove that he would do that, but apparently not.
That wouldn't work anyway because she stopped stuff on her before.
Yeah. Also, might not even be here. It might just be an illusion of her, right? So the axe could go right through.
Oh, he's getting beat up though.
取り付く体が欲しいなら、わしが変わっ
I feel like she's got a type, and it's not dwarf.
大した思い上がりだ。
And we all know that humans have OP racial bonuses. Slane, he warned you. You cast a spell on him again. Should have let him fall. Also, can we say the irony? You don't throw a dwarf, and she's throwing this game all over the place.
All around, everywhere.
なぜだ。なぜベルドまで殺した。おお、お前はあのままベルドがロードスを征服した方が良かったのか。何？私が本気でベルドにこのロードスをやると思っていたのか。
Clearly not. Kashi was the one if you're true about that.
最もファンが生き残ったとしても結果は同じ。すべてはロードスを破滅から救うため、ロードスを永遠に存続させるため。嘘だ。私はロードスを愛している。
Remember, episode 6, the narrator said we already know what her intent is. I'm glad they showed us in episode 1 Gim crushing the stone to show us how weak the stone is.
Then we can see when he's thrown against the wall why it's breaking like that.
Yeah, it's not that he's like Superman with his back strength and everything.
If
Stone's
not,
just
his
weak.
back has been broken in half.
Also, that was a super jump. It was like 20 feet away and just
He
fell
died.
forwards.
If he landed on the floor, he would have died.
Okay. So Kingdom of Sorcery was its actual name. Gotta change that on the board now.
支配力を取り戻そうとする戦いの残虐さをこれがかつてのロードス。私は故郷カストゥールの滅亡で一つの結論を得た。力を一つところに集中させてはならない。力が分散してしのぎを削っている限り完全なる滅亡。
Okay, so we can't allow Lodoss to be unified.
だから私は小競り合いをいくつも起こす。そう。この500年の間、そうしてロードスを
I've protected Lodoss by casting it in Eternal War. I mean, this
That doesn't make sense now.
I mean, it does kind of. This is essentially the story of Gundam Wing and Gundam 00. Actually,
But
it's the opposite of Gundam 00. It is the story of Gundam Wing, though.
私と共にロードスを導こうではないか。
Oh, now the devil's bargain with Parn.
さあ、古い鎧は脱ぎ捨て、新しい衣を身にまとうの。
That's not gonna work. King Fawn already offered me that.
He wouldn't do that anyway because he's too good.
Well, no, it's his father's armor. So literally, I got a better offer from a better man,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna do it for you if I wasn't gonna do it for him. What do you think the Chancellor Kashi was actually Theseus?
Kosh?
Kashu. King Kashu was actually Theseus. Yes, I wasn't proposing that the Vorlon from Babylon 5 was
Oh,
actually...
wait, what you Kosh?
It's just that when they focus up on the smile, it's like the same face, it almost looks like. You know, Theseus gets exiled to the desert, becomes Kashu, forms the Desert Kingdom.
サークレットじゃと。ええ、カーラの正体は機体のサークレットだとウォートが。
Yeah, but you literally can't touch her, so what does it matter?
You can't get close to her.
But I'm surprised she hasn't, like, frozen them in place. But, you know, maybe they leveled up and they're passing the saving throws.
She's not really doing much.
Thunderwave? Dwarven resistance to magic.
He is determined.
I mean, she could just freeze him up. She's done it before. Throw the hairpin at her?
Is that gonna spark thing? Is she see it? Yes, she is. A sense of home.
I don't think Wood was on the same page as everyone else.
Oh.
I told you he'd throw the axe eventually.
Oh.
Also, how the hell does that happen? Full on throw an axe and it just deflects off of the thing and knocks it off? Also, remember, she's like a shadow monster that inhabits the circle that can also control the circlet.
Mm.
So if everything after episode 8 is not canon, would seem to imply that Gim is dead?
I guess if that's what that means.
I mean, if he comes back in episode 9, then that's
that'll
not
be super
canon.
weird.
We know this man loves gold.
What?
He loves gold. He got that from the gold dust in the woods thing.
Yeah, but he's screaming no, he doesn't want it, but it still came upon him anyway.
Well, remember,
Yeah,
the thing came up on Lelia in the temple, too. She didn't, like, pick it up and put it on. Okay. I mean, unless we're getting a zombie moment where he, like, punches through the dirt.
No, I think he's gone.
Well, unexpected. Did not think this would... See? This is what I talked about in, like, episode 2 or 3. Stakes. Gim died. That proves that there are stakes. They are willing to kill characters. They better not DC Comics this shit and, like, bring him back. Is this Kashu?
I think it's Cashew. Kashu.
Nope. It's Woodchuck. He has been taken over. Dude can't resist gold.
For a second, I thought that was the Berserker.
I thought for a moment it was not going to be Woodchuck, but Praetorius, or whatever her name was, with the ashram. This guy. I'm angry, apparently.
The Scepter of Domination.
Oh. Sorry, it just occurs to me that he says, I will protect the peace of Lodoss with my life, and her whole thing is, I'm going to create an eternal war on Lodoss to make sure that no one power has all the authority, like it happened with the destruction of my homeland. So that makes sense. It ties Parn's thing with her. Him. Now, I guess him.
You think that's what this is pretty much the original story, the mural?
No. The mural is the war between the gods, and that's a different thing. That's also what separated Lodoss from the main continent, Ilcrest. Which again, I have to assume is being told to us by a commenter because I haven't gotten to our notes. You know, third episode, I think, is when I came back with notes where I told Ilcrest was the name of that continent. So yeah, that was a battle of the gods that happens over Ilcrest, I guess, and then causes the separation of Lodoss from that.
Mm.
So this is just...
Do you think, now that I understand, and we mentioned before, that episode 8 is what's left of canon, right? Because they were still waiting for the story to be finished. There was not the source material was not completed, right? So,
well, here's the problem. Before you get fully into it, does that mean that episode 8 is mixed canon? That they had something up to episode 8, and then partway through episode 8, they had to start writing their own stuff? Or is it the entirety of episode 8?
That's what I was going to ask. I was going to ask if if halfway through they started. I wonder if they originally had more than 12 episodes planned.
Okay, here's the thing, is if we assume that the commenter is right, and not all the time, commenters are quite often wrong too. The commenter said that the other show, the one that we're talking about starting after this, would start after episode 8.
After 8.
So, again, if they're right, and there's no telling if they are, the idea could be that the other show that is canon starts off with Gim dead and Woodchuck being Carla. I'm
Being
very
Carla.
interested if Woodchuck goes around calling himself Carla.
Oh, Carlo. Be great. We call him Carlo.
Well, I mean, if it's the person inside, then they don't care what the body they're
Well,
having.
they're not going to care.
And obviously, they're powerful enough to not give a shit what you think, also, right? So, the idea is that Lelia wasn't walking around calling themselves Lelia. So, Woodchuck shouldn't go around calling themselves Woodchuck. They should go around calling themselves Carla.
No, we're going to be seeing that.
I
But
almost
wonder if
completely
it's-
forgot, based on what happened in this episode, that the dragon thing was happening. So when they brought up the dragon at the next time on, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. We have more than Carla going on right now.
Well, my initial thoughts were a second ago when I was trying to say that I wonder if initially, like the plan was that we're going to have more than 12 episodes, assuming that the source material was going to be finished, right? Maybe that's what they thought. And that's why episode 8, they waited this long to introduce those new characters, still assuming that they were going to do more than 12 episodes. And maybe something production-wise happened that they had to bring it down to like leave it 12. And then after it picked up again, let's finish it up with a different show.
I don't think that could be the case based on how they've made the narrative so far. It seems way too intentional that they put like the prologue first and then, because they've also been time skipping all over the place and not telling us stuff that happened in between or then introducing it to us later. Because I feel like what you're talking about would only work if they like animated all the random bits and then decided to put them together into one story. Like that they animated parts of episode 5 and 6 first and then cut them up into episode 1, 5, and 6 and then put stuff in between. That's not how I imagine animation works. So
No, but it's also weird to like what Game of Thrones did, where you're making a show or something based off of source material that's not completed.
yeah, but I would assume that if this was going the same direction that Game of Thrones is, that we would have gotten like 7 to 8 episodes that very much were like in time with themselves, and then the last 4 episodes would have been a rush to the end, not a mix of just weird pacing throughout 8 episodes.
Yeah, but it takes a while to animate.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that also you would come in pre-planning. I don't think you would be surprised to find out that you didn't have as many episodes as you wanted, and and animate the middle of the show first, and then go back to the beginning, and then find out what you're doing at the end. I would think you would know that you had 12 episodes, and then start animating that, or that you would plan to have 26 episodes, and start animating from episode 1, and then partway through find out that you have to animate stuff differently. That you would still have the first 6 to 7 episodes on point the way you intended to have them, and then find out later that you had to course correct.
This needs a documentary.
Well, I've told you about this before when we talked about Macross, I think, in a previous conversation. That Macross was supposed to have some like 40 episodes. SDF Macross, I mean. Was supposed to have 40-something episodes, and then they found out later that they were getting cut down to half, and then they negotiated themselves back up to 30-something episodes, which is why Macross, the story feels like it ends somewhere around episode 20-something, and then they do something different. It feels weirdly out of pace for everything from that to like episode 30-something, because again, they were supposed to have 40-something, got cut down to 20-something, so their story just ends. The main story ends around 20-something. And then they have all this stuff that they actually negotiated back up to 30-something, but they weren't prepared for anymore. And it's just a weird storyline that happens. I'll just say it because it's old and it's weird. SDF Macross, essentially the Earth gets annihilated on like episode 20-something. Right? And it's like, oh, we don't think it's going to happen. Because one, we got so much more story left. And it's like, no. Basically, the surface of the world gets fucking destroyed in episode 20-something, and then we just go back and, like, re-inhabit and, like, form a peace between the people that killed us all and whatnot, and it's like, it feels very weirdly paced. And that's the backstory of that we got cut in half, and then we got extra episodes. And it's like, what is happening? And that's why that feels so weird. So with my experience of other shows that have, one, rushed to the end, or two, had to write their storylines based on outside influence, causing the amount of episodes to not be what they were, this doesn't feel like that to me. Again, I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just saying this doesn't feel like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out why it came off the way it came off. I mean, again, like I said before, I enjoyed when I first watched it. But again, I was very young at the time anyway, and still getting into anime the first time around. But knowing that everything's canon to episode 8 is kind of baffling.
Again, it's like Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Did you watch either of those?
No, but I know about them.
Yeah.
Like I know what the story is supposed to be about.
Well, no, I'm just saying Full Metal Alchemist, the manga wasn't finished when they made that anime. So they made their own non-canon anime ending, and then a movie that followed that was also additionally not canon. So
what's
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is after the manga got finished. They actually finished the story. It's like the first, I can't remember, 12 or 20 episodes are basically a real quick version of the canon episodes that they did for the original story. Like they shorten things, or they change some of the sensationalism behind them, but essentially they're the same story. And at a certain point, they diverge, whereas they go the actual canon route, how the story of the manga ends, versus the original Full Metal Alchemist takes a side character from one of the early episodes and a new character they introduced later in their new canon, and to tie them together and make them the villain and their whole plot and whatnot. Which again is a whole side story thing that a whole non-canon thing, versus Brotherhood, which is the actual story.
Okay.
That's what essentially this is.
Yeah, so it has to be the same thing. It's the same thing.
Well, that's why I keep alluding to it, because that's essentially what's happening here. Is that
I
after
wonder
a certain
how
episode,
often. I wonder how often this happen in anime then. If
I
it's
mean,
happened here,
not
it's
often
happened
at
there,
all. People are super surprised that it even happened to Full Metal Alchemist. It's like, you already have one story and you have the manga. Why did you decide to make this other thing? And it's like, well, people actually think Brotherhood is the better thing. So some people really love the original too. So it's hard to tell. So it doesn't happen often is my end on that.
Well, we have 2 instances of it, so.
I mean, this one had happened before Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist was like 2005 or something like that. This is 80s to 90s.
I wonder how different the next 4 episodes are going to be then to the story.
Well, I mean, we'll find out after the other one, if we start the other one. I mean, since I don't know what the original story is to begin with, everything is just going to be, unless they go so off, like if they're following the writing of the original story to a T, and obviously this would be new writers now stepping in and giving their own interpretation, then that might feel obvious, right? Like, this isn't what the characters were like before, and now all of a sudden, well, to be fair though, again, what I said about Parn in the prologue, where Parn is like, I don't fucking care if you fight, you guys can just leave. It's like, that hasn't been Parn the entire story, and that's just supposed to be some segment from the middle of the story. That Parn is like, I'm going to travel with you guys, and we're going to do this whole thing, and then in the middle of that, he's like, leave, I don't care. And then after that, he's like, I'm going to travel with you guys, I don't care.
Well, I wonder if we are going to see anything like that. If we are going to see any one of them behave differently because of this.
Well, one of them will, for
like,
sure.
Like all of a sudden, Parn's is like a coward and runs away from battle.
Well, I mean, one of them will act differently, for sure.
Well, for sure.
Yeah, well, 2 of them technically, because one of them is going to be on his back the whole rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Underground, because he
It'll
died.
be funny if we find out
joke.
the other series that nothing ever happened to Woodchuck. That like this was that scene alone with Carla goes to Woodchuck was added because of this.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it going to be partway through the episode they ran out of material, or was it the entire thing that they paced out what material they had to get to 8 episodes and then figured it out?
Since we didn't see anything was Woodchuck, like his behavior after the effect, maybe that was like, you know what we're gonna do is once we do this, we'll just change the narrative and put this on Chuck, and we'll go from there.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because the reason I thought it was going to be Kashu was we saw him walking through the desert, but that is Flame. The kingdom Kashu comes from is supposed to be the Desert Kingdom, implying that Carla in Woodchuck's body is walking towards Kashu's kingdom. Maybe that's the connection. Maybe their kingdom 500 years ago, the Kingdom of Sorcery, I've already forgotten the name because I haven't had the chance to go back over everything. The Kingdom of Sorcery was in the desert. So maybe they're tied to that. But again, from the evidence that's been suggested, it seems like she's just offering that to everybody so that everybody keeps fighting. Because we can't have a united Lodoss because that would be bad, according to them.
Like that's her MO.
Well, I mean, I at least appreciate that it's an understandable motivation. That it's not mustache twirling bad guy, right? It's like,
no,
I'm not doing this to make sure more people die for absolutely no reason. I was hurt by this thing that happened 500 years ago, and I'm trying to make sure other people don't get hurt. And to fight the ultimate evil, I think this is what has to happen. It's a utilitarian point of view, I guess.
Yeah.
What is the most good for the least lost? And it just seems to be, I guess, people constantly dying in war is the least loss to what the overall death count might be if everyone was united. And maybe that's what the dragons represent. If we're all fighting the dragons, then we don't have time to unite together, although actually that seems like it would be counterintuitive. Let's all unite together to fight the dragons. Seems like the probable outcome of that.
Then they defeat the dragons, then they can find a way to live in peace.
Although
together.
Historically, that hasn't happened. Because remember, that was the tribal leaders coming to King Fawn before. Sacrifice your daughter to the dragon. And he's like, no. And that caused more fighting. So clearly, not the idealistic people. The people of Lodoss.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to see.
All right. Final thought?
No, it should be interesting from here on out. The next 4 episodes.
All right. Well, that said, once again, I've been Theta. This has been Ray. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?